What's up? It's noon. I'm only an hour late. I mean, that's like barely late around here, right? I mean, it's only a 250 pip candle on the euro. It's not quite 400, so I think we're okay, right? Just kidding. In all honesty, sorry I'm running late. It was a little bit of a fire drill this morning, but everything's good, thankfully. So I can see my charts, but I cannot hear my own voice because I have the volume down. So can somebody let me know if they can hear me? That would be awesome. I hope everybody has some amazing plans this weekend. What a week. If anybody can hear me, let me know before I actually get into this thing. So I'm going to do a little comparison, right? See chat, no video. Refresh maybe, bro? It's actually lower on the page too. All right, we'll let everybody get over here for a second. Okay, cool. So, interesting stuff this week, right? We had a bunch of central bank news, okay? And the interesting thing is that so two of the three, okay? So we had BOC Wednesday morning, okay? Then we had New Zealand a few hours later, all right? And then the next day we had ECB, right? BOC came out, started it off with keeping rates the same, you know, basically like, meh, you know, we're Canadian and at some point oil will come back, but we're just going to go play some hockey and have a beer, It will be good. That's sort of how they approached it, right? So CAD strengthened, okay, which makes sense. Next, we had New Zealand up, and they were like, so China's a dirty, you know, lady of the night trading partner, and we could never, ever think about keeping rates the same because doing business with them will be the worst idea in the world. And they cut their rate. And New Zealand had a pretty decent spike down on that move, but it didn't break 4-hour structure. It didn't, and it actually is almost retraced most of that move this morning or this afternoon. So weird stuff there. And then ECB comes out and says, you know, Draghi's like, so you guys think you're bad? Watch what I can do. And he's like, basically, we're going to fund any commercial paper we want to. Rates are zero, blah, blah, blah. And then he's like, well, sort of that's the last thing that we're going to do. So it's all good. And the euro takes a tank on the initial news. And then Draghi starts speaking, and it skyrockets. Okay. So you have one rate decision that sort of stayed in line with even that, though. If we look at it, okay, let's just go through these individually before we move on. Okay, this was the candle on the BOC rate decision. Okay, CAD strengthened, looked good, broke down, continuation, nice trade, right? Then over the next several hours, it made its way almost back up and retraced almost the entire move. Okay, which since in time has worked its way back down, and this is what I'll start talking about in a few minutes. Okay, this part here, but just remember for right now, CAD strength, retrace the move, right? Then we had New Zealand. We just looked at the news. Here's the New Zealand bar, okay, on the news, right? New Zealand's going to cut rates. China sucks. We can't do business with them. Blah, 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 blah. I got an STI from China. And then all of a sudden, we hit the 200, and now we're back almost retracing the entire move, right? Now the humdinger of them all, the euro. Nice move. ECB sucks. We're gonna cut rates. We're gonna buy corporate bonds. We're gonna, we could pretty much buy junk if we want to, or Swiss cheese, or we could, never mind. Or we could do whatever we want, and then the ECB and then the euro gets a huge appreciation. Okay, retraced a little bit, sitting where it's at. Here's what I want you to take away from this. Okay, central banks are losing their power. And what we're seeing, or what I've seen this week with the central banks trying to destroy their currencies and being unable to do it, what I've really taken away from this, okay, is the incredible amount of dollar weakness that seems to be in the air right now. And I don't know if it's going to lead up to a reversal from the Fed on Wednesday, because let's look at next week. Okay. Next week's a freaking doozy again, okay? So next week we start out with Monday is going to be relatively quiet, but we do have some red tag stuff from Odd, all right, and another central banker speaking, okay, JPY, so there's another central banker speaking, okay, this is getting a little bit ridiculous. Watch BOJ come out and be like, forget all you guys, we're doing a quadrillion yen, and we're just going to literally walk down the street and hand it out to people, so you guys can suck it. That's what I see BOJ doing, okay? Maybe I could be wrong. I don't know. I'm not an economist, but so the worst wrap-up video we've ever had right now. My voices and my commentary are just a little off right now. So and then Tuesday morning we get some pretty sensitive dollar news, PPI and retail. Then we get milk prices, which will be fun. Ignore that one. Wednesday, though, Wednesday and Thursday are sort of Armageddon. Okay, you get employment numbers in GBP. All right, you get CPI and building permits in the U.S. and core CPI, which should be a mover. Okay, and that's before the morning even freaking starts. Right, that's 5:30 in the morning. That crap comes out. Okay, 6:15 you get a little bit more dollar news. Then you get oil inventories, and then you get the real WTF moment here at 11 with the FOMC statement and the potential to there's still a potential for a rate hike on the table right now, which would just throw everything into freaking chaos. But then there's a presser after, so we get to deal with the same crap where we get a statement like we did with Draghi, and then you get a press conference afterwards where the beard can say whatever she wants to say. So that day is just insane with the Fed, and then odd employment later that day. So Wednesday's like, holy crap. There's going to be margin calls and alcoholism, rampant on Wednesday. And then Thursday we get CHF. Okay, we get Swissy monetary policy statement, and then we get pound policy statement, okay, and bank rate. And after all that's over, you get some more red tag US dollar news. Okay, so and then Friday we just end with a measly little, UOM and some core stuff for CAD. So, I mean, Wednesday and Thursday are going to be absolutely incredibly insane, right? They're just going to be lunaticville. Okay. Levels trades are going to be difficult next week. I'm not going to lie to you. As difficult as we saw central bank decisions go this week, next week is going to be twice as bad because half of the pairs that I follow are dollar pairs. Okay. So, I'm trying to decide how I'm going to play all this. I will be out Thursday and Friday next week. I should be able to still get an email out. Well, that'll include Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday of the following week. So those 4 days I'm going to be out of town, and I will get an email out, but it's either going to be at night or early in the morning. So it won't be this midday kind of thing, and we'll figure something out. But just a side note there. But next week's going to be flipping crazy, guys. With what we saw this week, with the way that price reacted to central bank decisions, right? Go back to these, and you look across this board now, and I see dollar weakness. Okay, I see an inability for a central bank to cut a rate and destroy a currency against the dollar. Okay, not only one place but two places. Okay, in both instances, it's not like CAD where it's based on a commodity, right? Where everybody's like, well, CAD trades with oil. This is like freaking milk and dairy, and I don't even know what Europe produces anymore. Okay, but there are two economies that cut their interest rates and basically said we need to weaken the hell out of our currency, and the dollar ended up weakening against them at the end of the day. Okay, dollar weakened against all three central banks. Okay, that's an interesting occurrence, and I don't know exactly what to do with it yet, but just realize that dollar weakened against all three central banks that moved. Okay, two of them moved negatively, and dollar still weakened, and dollar's been showing some pretty substantial weakness across other places too. So, man, they're either pumping it to get themselves better levels for next week for a rate hike, okay, or there's going to be no hike next week. The Fed's going to come out dovish, and we could see, a fairly substantial reversal of what we've been seeing so far in terms of what the trends have been and dollar strength. Okay, so it's going to be. I mean, it has the potential to be an extremely interesting week. Levels trades are going to be difficult. Like I said, it's going to be tough. We might be able to do some of the crosses that have already been done, say, Euro CAD or Euro AUD or Euro New Zealand maybe, but maybe staying away from pound and dollar pairs. Okay. And I don't trade anything Swissy anyway, so I'm not worried about that. But maybe trying to avoid pound and dollar pair levels going into next week, because my Euro trade was friggin' awesome. It was awesome balls until Draghi opened his mouth and it stopped me out. So I wouldn't play that any different with the stimulus that they came out with and the reaction that it had. I really thought that the breakdown of 108.20 was going to happen and hold, and that's what I get for thinking. And it happened so fast. There was really, I mean, by the time I could have moved my stop, it just would have been, it would have been over anyway. So it was a crappy situation, and I just want to avoid that next week at all costs. All right. So that's sort of, I may add new pairs next week just to avoid some of those central bank crap, and just play with the ones that have already made their decisions. But we can go from there. All right. any questions on anything so far? Sort of what's going on with the central banks, the dollar weakness I see. Anything, Bueller. Let's see if we can look at some commods here real quick. Oil keeps getting bought every time it tries to break down, right? This is starting to look like oil's going to have one last, Viagra candle that drops, that drives it higher, maybe a 40 type of look. Okay, before it wants to roll over. I mean, it's a nice look here. Okay, on a monthly chart, those are two nice wicks. Okay, but most of the time, pin bars are a great continuation signal. Okay, I don't care what time frame you're looking at. I use pin bars as continuations. Most people are looking at this freaking chart now and going, you know what? Oil's bottom. We got to buy oil, buy oil, buy oil. They're going to drive the hell out of that pin bar. All right, no doubt in my mind. When they're going to do it, who knows? Okay, weekly is going to end up on its high here. Okay, this stochastic should go overbought with that close, and a fairly good potential for a negative open next week. Okay, trying to suck as many buyers as they possibly can in right now. May go a little higher. I mean, as long as, in all reality, guys, if we're below 51, we're still in freaking weekly structure. Okay, so, whoa, that's cool. Never done that before. Daily on oil. Definitely still downtrend area. Okay, could it hit the 200 at 42? Absolutely. Is that still within 51 structure? Absolutely. Okay, that does not mean that oil has done anything but make a correction. Okay, and we'll see what happens to it next week. Go or Jerther. Jerther had a big drop, didn't it? Yeah, I guess it did. Being bought up now, right? With the euro. So I don't know, man. Interesting stuff. I don't follow Jerther a lot, but if y'all got specific questions on it, let me know. Risk on through the 200. Still have this 786 sitting up at 2024. All right, looks like that's going to happen. But we all know that this look is not bullish. Okay, this is usually a 200 and a pullback. Okay, a 200 and a bounce back in the direction that it came from. Right. We'll just have to see how it happens. Jason says, "What about the daily 200 in oil?" Daily two. Well, yeah, that's the 42. Okay, 42 is a total possibility, right? It looks like a CT right now with a total possibility of 42. But just like we just saw in the S&P, okay, anytime you hit a 200, even though it may go a little bit beyond it, the likelihood of a bounce back in the direction that you came from is extremely likely. Okay, so could it lose another $2 or gain another? Well, I guess it'd be closer to $3.5. $3.50. Absolutely, that could be in the cards, without a doubt. But I would expect that somewhere around that area, though, you're still in structure until 51. Okay, 51 would be a place where you'd go, maybe Saudi Arabia is going under and everybody's stopping producing oil, and all of a sudden everybody wants to fill up their gas tank. Okay, that would be a place where maybe that would be a possibility. But until then, this is just a correction in a downtrend. So we did that. We did S&P. Gold member. Interesting here. Gold dropping. Okay. This is where gold. Let's see. Gold is not following. Sorry, I'm going through the correlations in my head. So you got risk on. You've got odd, New Zealand, euro. Those type. Was dollar yen up? I don't remember if dollar yen's up. Dollar yen is working its way up. Okay, so sort of a risk on picture right now. So risk currencies are going up, dollars going down. Gold should effectively be going up with risk, right? If dollar's going down, oil's going up, gold should be going up. So, gold was sort of the precursor or the front runner to the dollar weakness. Could it be a front runner to dollar strength and sort of risk off? It's possible. It's going to have a lot of work to do before it actually shows that. But that's absolutely a possibility. I wouldn't trade off of that yet, but 4-hour stack is still very much intact on gold, okay? But it's making those moves that are harder to trust, right? Coming through it, your first Momo would have been, all the way up at the top and harder to deal with. So, I wouldn't do anything with this until it makes its way down. All right. Anything else we want to look at in terms of stocks or commodities? Does anybody trade coffee or sugar or anything like that? I wonder if we can you get the can we get futures stuff on here? What did you say Dow was? YM? So this is a daily, and this should be Dow futures. Sorry, I've never done futures before. No, thank you. Do not want to go pro. Killing me, Smalls. Oh, they're not going to let me go below that, are they? They're not going to let me drop below there. Are they going to let me go to a 4-hour? Nope. All right. Well, we can't do much with futures. I love Momo trades. Momo gets you in nicely here. Momo keeps you out right here. I love Momo. It's kind of like I love Mama, but I love Momo. Okay, sorry. All right, we're gonna move on to the pairs now. So, like I said, Euro kicked my ass. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It took all of my nice odd New Zealand stuff and just threw it out the window and on the lawn, and called the cops on me and was like, you know what, this freaking guy. Never mind. So nothing to do here yet. We may be able. This hasn't even hit a 382 yet on this move. So I'd like it to break liquidity one more time, get a continuation, and then we can start working a fib off of this kind of move. Okay, get back towards the 20, get up into continuation type of stuff, and try and take it. Okay, that's what we'll be looking for next week. Pound dollar. Obviously nowhere close to a new stack up yet, but it's making such nice moves that maybe we try and get into it next week. Okay, could we get aggressive and try and do this and fully knowing that the 200 is right there, okay, and that this thing's probably going to be drawn back to fair value. But if dollar weakness, well, yeah, I'm not going to take these trades before FOMC. Okay, never mind. Nothing to do there. Nothing to see here. All right. Well, that ended up being a good trade. Definitely missed that one this week. Okay. Definitely should have followed through on the fib with that. When that move happened, not to make an excuse, but that was the day that New Zealand came out and was like, China's giving me the itch. And I was like, my initial inclination is to say, okay, if New Zealand can't trade with China, how's Australia going to trade with China, right? How are they gonna spin that one and be like, well, Australia is cool because they're only trading with Western China, which isn't as bad or something. I don't know, but obviously they came up with some story in their heads that said, if New Zealand can't trade with China, we can, and they've made a move that shames all other moves. So I guess at this point we just got to keep buying this thing. So next week we'll look at getting into a 382 or a 618 pullback on this and going for it. I mean, it's that I let my head get in the way of that one. Dollar yen is now basically CT back to the 200 again, but this thing's been largely stuck. I mean, this has been a huge pain in the butt and really not worth trading. New Zealand, okay, freaking New Zealand is about to go stack up again. Okay, on a 4-hour chart, New Zealand cut rates, and they're about to go stack up on a 4-hour chart again. Okay, what the fudge is going on with this world? I mean, there's probably worse things out there that are happening, but today, New Zealand cut rates, and they're going stack up again. So initial liquidity 68.20. I mean, 68.20 to 69. 69 seems like, unbelievably reasonable right now. I think it was this chart. No, I was thinking of odd New Zealand. Okay, if this thing busts out of this liquidity, okay, this has got 200 written all over it. Like 74 and a half, 75-ish. Like, holy crap. I mean, they're buying this. I mean, you look at this price action, they're buying the balls out of New Zealand right now. It's crazy. Not even a rate cut can stop it. Okay, this is going to stack up. We're gonna try and buy it again next week. Try and buy it. This again, let a little bias come into my head. We should have been, working this. Okay, so I missed that trade too for sure. So my bad. Now we'll be looking to work this stack early next week, or maybe after FOMC. I just don't want to get caught in any dollar pairs during FOMC, right? Pound odd. I didn't miss anything on this one. This one's been pretty dang hard to get in. Okay, that was broken structure right there. Would have potentially stopped us out. I don't know. Not a lot to do there right now. Pound New Zealand, little 4-hour 200 action going on here. Okay, this thing, if this stacks back down now, we're gonna sell the crap out of it. Okay, we're gonna hop on this thing and sell it next week in new stack downs. Euro pound. Okay, this one's a little bit better than euro in terms of what it's done, but it still is not stacked up. So if it will stack up next week, I would definitely be looking for new buys on this. Okay. I would like to do it after Thursday though. So this one will probably be ignored until Thursday after the pound meeting. Maybe if it presents that nice of a trade, we could get in it early and just, aggressively move stops before the meeting and just be like, forget it, I ain't losing money on this. But right now, not a lot to do. On New Zealand, this was a tough fib to draw, but the 382 worked out really well. I didn't set those orders or do anything with it, but it looks like continuation now, and we'll have to see. The New Zealand strength, this was a great play on New Zealand weakness. Now that New Zealand's strengthening up a little bit, they're more equally matched right now again. So it's going to be a little bit harder to get those bigger moves. So anyways, that's what I got. We got a little bit, I missed a little bit, and I lost a little bit. So it was basically a wasted week in levels for my trading. I think, if I'm critiquing myself and what I think during the week, I still have to get better at letting go of some preconceived notions, sort of the, getting something in my head and then operating off of that versus operating off of what's actually on the chart. I got to get better at that. So that's something I'll be working on next week. Let the chart tell me what to do. There's really nothing that I can add to the chart. So just let the chart tell me what to do, So Any questions on anything, guys? Anything that you want to bring up today? Anything that you want me to address or go over or look at or anything at all? Yeah, me too. I want to start the weekend too. All right, cool guys. Well, I will. I'll end it there. I'm getting, man, I'm getting everything switched back over to the website. I should have that structure in place this weekend, and then probably a new announcement next weekend or next week. So yeah, next Thursday I leave for spring break. The going down to Arizona for a little bit, get to some warm and see some family down there. So I'll probably catch a Rockies game. And we always go, me and the boys always go over to the bullpen of the visiting team and hang out over there and beg for baseballs because it's really fun to get the baseballs. And since we're in the Rockies at the Rockies game, quote unquote, nobody hangs out over at the visitors. So it's pretty, it's a pretty cool place for the boys to see the guys pitch. And I don't know, something about spring. I'm not a baseball fan. I would never go to an actual baseball game, but I never. That's funny, Mike. Cousin Eddie. Yeah, I'm actually staying a night with Cousin Eddie out at the ranch, and hoping to get some of his shoes and leave Aunt Edna there because that chick has got to go. Oh, guys. Sorry for all the commentary today. I should put a disclaimer on there. Sorry for anybody that I offended that may have been Canadian or European or anything else that I may have offended today. Yeah. Yeah, we have AAA. Jason, we have AAA ball here in the Springs, the Sky Sox, and I've never been to the game, and I should do that this year. Because, there's nothing about pro baseball that I can't watch it on TV. I can't go to the games. I can't do anything. Spring training's fun, though. You could get closer to the field than you can, any other sporting event I've ever been to. And that's fun for the kids. So it's pretty cool. I forgot what I was going to say. I don't remember. Cool, man. Well, we should start we should just start bringing people and get to the game, get to 4 games in one day. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Cool. Well, all right, y'all. Have a good weekend, and we'll hit it hard again next week. It'll be awesome, and I can't wait. So I'll talk to you guys over the weekend. I'm sure I'll be in the chat posting some stuff, and then probably look for a little announcement from me next week. All right, y'all. Talk to you later.